Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Good? Okay. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Even though on a gloomy day, our mind becomes gloomy, uh, and we feel down for no reason. So a reminder, tomorrow you have your PLTL after class, and next week, Friday, you have your exam here. My plan is to finish 3.5 today and go to 3.6. Most likely we will be able to finish almost 3/4 of 3.6. Then tomorrow we are going to finish 3.6. And next week, Tuesday, we are going to do 4.1 to 3. Thursday, we are going to do a review, and your exam will be on Friday. And if you haven't noticed, I actually already posted our review sheet on Brightspace. If you go to our class under content and then exam review, if you click on exam review on the left panel, you see the review sheet is there. Click on the review sheet and you'll see the review sheet. All the questions, or at least most of the questions, are from our lecture notes. So I don't have a solution for the review sheet because I want to cover every question during lecture. So if you want to see the solution, you have to just go through your lecture notes. And if you're missing anything, you can watch the lecture recording. Okay. So the review sheet is based on chapter 3 and 4, but most likely we won't be able to do 4.5, which is the word problems for system of equations. So we are going to postpone this for our exam 2. So probably our exam will be based on chapter 3 and 4.1 to 3. Okay. Any question, comments, concern? And if you didn't notice about the recording, let me remind you again. All the class recording from last 4 classes, you'll find them under class playlist on the left panel, and then go to the class recording link. It will take you to all the classes we have so far. And here I have more videos than our 4 videos because I put together my morning class and also this class. Okay. Okay, now any question from anywhere, from your homework, from last class, from your life, about anything? Any question from anyone before we start? Any comments, concern, complaint? Nothing? Okay, then let's begin our lecture. Do you remember what we have done in our last class? We worked with parallel lines, perpendicular lines. What type of slopes parallel lines have? Parallel lines have same slope. Same slope. Because they are parallel. In order to guarantee that they're never going to intersect one another, we have to go with the same steepness, same pace. And that steepness is the slope. So if you maintain the same slope between the two lines, then they are parallel. And how about perpendicular lines? What type of slope perpendicular lines have? Negative reciprocal. Means the sign is opposite, and whatever number you have, you flip that number. So we did one parallel perpendicular example in our last class. Let's begin with another example. It says find the equation of the line passing through this point and it's perpendicular to that line. So they gave us a line. We want to find its perpendicular line, and that perpendicular line goes to the point 3, -2. So why they give us this line? How it's useful to us. Every information they give us is somehow useful. So how this information is useful? What do we do with this line? To find the slope. They give us a line. If you don't see the slope, how can you find its perpendicular slope? So we start from this line. 5x minus 15y equals 0. Now we need the slope of this. Do you see the slope here? No. Since we don't see the slope here. So what can we do with this line so that we can see its slope? Convert. This format is useless to find the slope. So we convert that into something useful. Y equals mx plus b. If we solve for x, if we solve for y, whatever number you have in front of x, that's our slope. And that is what you're looking for. So our goal is to get the y alone. What can you do to get the y alone? Step 1. Okay, so you're going to subtract 5x, no problem. We subtract 5x from both sides, so the x's cancel out. We get negative 15y is negative 5x. We're almost done. By? If you divide by 5, then x gets alone. But you don't want to get the x alone, you want to get y alone. So what y has? Only 15? Negative 15. Whatever we have in front of y, we don't want that. So we have to get rid of that. So you have to divide both sides by the coefficient for y. See, we want to get y alone, y, not x. So negative 15 cancel out. We have y alone. Yvette? So negative cancel out. Are you thinking about the left side? But never mind. It's just 1 over. Go ahead. 1 over 3. 5 and 15, they both are divisible by 5. So you divide both of them by 5. So 5 goes to 5 once. 5 goes to 15, 3. So we have 1 over 3x. And now you're happy. We have y equals mx, and there is no b, means our b is 0. So this is what we are looking for. That will tell us what will be the slope of the perpendicular line. If we add 15, and then you divide both sides by 15 instead of negative 15. So what is the slope of the perpendicular line if the slope of this line is 1/3? Negative 3. Negative 3 over 1, which is negative 3. Because over 1, everything has over 1. It's invisible. Now the perpendicular line has slope negative 3. And it also has a point x1, y1, which is 3, -2. So here they're telling us the line passing through the point 3, -2. So perpendicular line has a point 3, -2, and it also has a slope -3. Now it's time to find the equation of the perpendicular line. How do we begin finding any equation of the line? So we have a slope and a point. If you have a slope and a point, how do you find the equation of the line? Be confident. You got it. Y minus y1 slope x minus x. Anytime you're finding equation of a line through some points, either 2 points or 1 point with a slope, then that's how it begins. So we have y minus what? -2. The slope? -3. X minus x1? 3. So this is good because we have no fraction. So we don't have to worry about the fraction anymore. But we have double negative. What happens to double negative? Turn into positive. So we have y plus 2 in one side. And what do we do on the other side? Distribute. Perfect. You guys are getting smarter. What is -3 times -3? +9. This is the equation of the line in point slope format. But they didn't mention what format, so let's convert this into this format first. So if you convert this into slope intercept format, what do you need to get rid of? The 2. So do you add, subtract, multiply, divide? Subtract 2 from both sides, and we have at least one correct format. -3x plus 7. If they didn't mention the format, we can stop here or you can stop there. Yeah, we can stop here or stop there, it doesn't matter. But let's say they want you to write in standard form. So convert this into standard form. What do you have to do? All you have to do is add the 3x because the 3x is minus. If we add, it will turn into plus and it will go next to the y. So 3x plus y will give us 7. And this is our standard form. So we have all three formats: point slope, slope intercept, standard form. Was any step unclear yet? Huh? In the final, they always ask for the slope of the parallel perpendicular. Sometimes that's for the equation. So it's good to know because I'm not sure whether they'll give you this semester, whether they'll ask you or not. But definitely they're going to ask you about the slope of the parallel and perpendicular. So in the exam, I'm going to ask you either the slope, one question will be slope intercept form, and one will be standard form. Any other question? No? So with this, you're done with the fourth type of equation, and now the last type of equation, which is fun because you're not going to do any math in the last part. All you have to do is visualize the information they are giving us. It says, find the slope of the line perpendicular to x-axis. And that line goes to the point 3, -5. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 5. Any question on what they're asking for? Is the scenario clear to you? What information is given to us and what they're asking for? Not clear? It's saying find the slope of the line perpendicular to the x-axis. Whenever you see they're asking for x, they're given x-axis, y-axis, it means draw your coordinate. X-axis and y-axis, draw them. Once you draw them, now reread. What is the slope of the line perpendicular to the x-axis? And that line goes to the point 395. So the perpendicular line goes to this point 395. Perpendicular to what? No, perpendicular to x-axis. So which one is our x-axis? Horizontal. This is the horizontal line, x-axis. How can you draw a line that is perpendicular to a horizontal line? It has to be a vertical line. So you draw a vertical line through that point, and that's the perpendicular line to the x-axis. Now they're asking, what is the slope of this line? What is the slope of any vertical line? That's the equation of the line. Perfect. Equation of the line is x equals 3. And what's the slope? Part undefined. Any vertical line, they actually don't have any slope. Their slopes are undefined. So slope here is undefined. Undefined. But the equation of the line is x equals 3. They are asking for slope. So for slope, our answer is undefined. Later, you will see that they are also asking for the equation of the line. Okay? So that's why I said no math is needed because we didn't do any math. We drew the xy plane and plotted the point and then see, based on the information, what they want us to do. At least you have to draw the x and y and then the point. And guess what? In the exam, I'm going to ask at least 10 of these because we have many different scenarios. So my plan is to cover each scenario with at least one question. Try this one by yourself. Similar concepts. Let me take that minutes. Brianna Almonte. So that is 26. Christina. Catherine. Jolene. Govan. Madison Field. Eric. Abraham. Stephanie. Leandra. Robert. Robert, no phone. Are you using phone? Thank you. Katie. Kimelsia. Maria. Sandis. Michaela. Madison Orlando. Angie. Mazavin. Here. Melvelis. Giselle. Muhammad, Tahsin, Gavin. Gavin, you made it. Brianna, Texas. Carla. Yvette is here. Nicholas, Danielle, and Hassan. Hassan Jubair. Okay. Madison, right? Yes. Are you guys ready? Oh, my God. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at this. Ready? Give me also. Would you like to help me with this? It says find the slope of the line perpendicular to y-axis. So this is our y-axis. It's a vertical line. Perpendicular line must be a horizontal line. So the perpendicular line is this. What is the slope of any horizontal line? 0. That's all you have to do. But let's say they ask me for the equation of the line. What is the equation of this line? Y equals -5. Actually, let me do this. If y equals -5, we starting only the y below -5. If it touched both x and y axis, then it would have equation y equals mx plus b format. But it doesn't. So it's only y equals whatever it's going through. Any question on this one? It depends on what type of line you have. So the perpendicular line is here, is a horizontal line, because our y-axis is a vertical line. So vertical line is perpendicular line horizontal. And what is the slope of any horizontal line? 0. On the other hand, here, our x-axis is a horizontal line. Its perpendicular is a vertical line. What is the slope of any vertical line? Any other question? Then you have more. Similar idea. Let me do it here. And here you have to find both the slope, also the equation. So it's saying what is, let's do one by one. What is the slope of the line parallel to x equals 9? That means we have to know where the line x equals 9 is. So let's say this is 9. What type of line is x equals 9 line? Vertical. So it goes straight up. And down. Okay, now it is saying what is the slope of the line that is parallel to x equals 9 line? So we are going to do a line that is parallel to this line, and that line goes to the point -3,8. So let's plot -3,8. 1, 2, 3, and let's say this is 8. 1, 2, 3, and let's say this is 8. So this is the scenario for both cases. We have x equals 9 line, and we have a point -3,8. So this is -3, -3, and this is 8. So A, draw a line that is parallel to x equals 9 line. So what type of line are you going to draw? Another vertical line here. Because the parallel line goes to this point. So this is the parallel line. What is the slope of this line? It is a vertical line. So slope is undefined. Equation of this parallel line. -3 equals what? X. It's going through the x value -3, so its equation must have x equals -3. So the equation of the line parallel to x equals 9 is x equals -3. The slope of this line is undefined. And in the exam, yes, I want to see your line. So drawing the line is 1 point, slope is 1 point, equation is another one. So for one question, you have 3 points, and I'm going to give you at least 10. So I'm giving you 30 points here. Why? Because this is a final exam question. This type of question, at least one of them will see in the final exam. Now, can you do B by yourself? It's the same concept, but this time they're asking for perpendicular line. What is the equation of the line that is perpendicular to the x equals 9 line? And the perpendicular line goes to this point. So first draw the line. Draw a line that goes to this point, but it's perpendicular to this line. Ready? So if you draw a line perpendicular to this line, what type of line you have to draw? Horizontal line. So a line that is horizontal. So what's the equation of this line? Y equals 8. So this is the perpendicular line. Y equals 8. And what's the slope of this line? 0. Slope of any horizontal line is 0. So this line also has slope. And now you have to practice by yourself. Ready? Michaela, would you like to help me with A? This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. Find the equation of the line. Let's say I'm doing only the equation first time. Find the equation of the line that passes through the point -1/2, -5. So plot the point, -1/2, -5. Let's say this is -1/2. And let's say this is -5. So what is the equation of the line that passes through this point and is perpendicular to the x-axis? First, tell me how to draw the line. Which line is perpendicular to the x-axis? Which type of line? A horizontal line or a vertical line? Vertical line. So this is the x-axis. Its perpendicular line has to be a vertical line. So what's the equation of this line? Equation. In order to have a y, you have to touch the y-axis. Did you touch the y-axis? It's only touching which axis? Through which number? -1. So what's the equation of this line? X equals -1/2. And what is the slope of any vertical line? Undefined. That's it. X-axis, y-axis, -1/2, -5. So this is the point. Nicholas, would you like to help me with B? So perpendicular to the y-axis. So this is our y-axis. Its perpendicular line mass has to be horizontal. So equation is perfect. Y equals -5. How about the slope? 0. Any question? Is there anybody who did not understand what's going on here? Trust me, 30 points in the exam is a lot. So if you didn't understand, you're losing your 30 points. So it's for one place. Stephanie. Either horizontal or vertical. Right, the lines are always either horizontal or vertical, and the slopes are always either 0 or undefined. Good observation. So 30 points. Anybody need help on these 30 points? No? So with this, we are done with section 3.5, and now we are going to 3.6, which is completely different than what we did so far. So in 3.5, we talked about line, all about linear equation. We learned about the slope, the parallel, perpendicular, how do you find the equation, all these things. And now we are going to do something that's called function. So let me like this. So our first and three, where does this stop? Or are we in this case just all get up to 3.5, or is it 3.6? 3.6 and chapter 4 also. Okay, it got messed up. Can I fix it? No. I need that. So our exam will be chapter 3 and also section 4.1, 2, and 3. So let me fix this. So our equation is x equals -1/2. Slope is undefined. Here we have equation y equals -5 and slope is 0. Okay, so 2.6 talks about function. Before we talk about function, we have a concept called relation. A relation is any ordered pair. When you have a bunch of ordered pair between x and y, we have some type of relation. That's why they call relation. And in a relation, all the x numbers gives us the domain. All the y numbers give us the range. We say x are independent, y's are dependent. We also say x are input variable, y's are output variable. Now, in a relation, we care about function. How do you know some relations represent function? Well, if in a relation there is no repeated x value, then that relation gives us a function. So in order to be a function in our xy ordered pair, We cannot have the same x value more than once. Okay, that's the story behind relation and function. And now what you're going to do is this. We are going to see a bunch of points and observe, do they represent a function or not? Then you're going to see a bunch of plotted points and see whether they represent a function or not. Then you will see a bunch of graphs and figure out whether they represent a function or not. And then lastly, we are going to see a bunch of equations and see whether any of them represent a function or not. So first thing, a bunch of x and y values. In this question, they gave us 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 8, and 4, 9. They gave us a bunch of x and y pair. They want us to find three things. Find out what's the domain of this relation, what's the range of this relation, and then figure out whether this relation give us a function or not. Now, what did we say about domain? Domain are what? Domain gives us what? X. That means all you have to do is to find the domain, you observe your x values. What are the x values we have here? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do you see the same x value more than once? No. So does this relation represent a function? Yes. So it is a function because no x values are more than once. We don't care about the range, okay? In range, we can have the same number 100 times. We don't care. But in domain, we cannot have same number more than once. So what is the range of this relation or this function? It's the y values. So 6, 6, 8, 9. And I think my method doesn't want you to repeat the same number twice. So you rewrite this as 6, 8, 9. Right. If we had a domain, we write it's not a function. They wanted to find three things: domain, range, and whether the function or not. So you still have to find the domain. You still have to find the range. And then you figure out whether it's a function or not. So B. This time for B, you just reverse the order pair. So we have 6, 1, 6, 2, 8, 3, and 9, 4. And you're still finding the same three things: domain, range, and figure out whether it represents a function or not. Why not? Because the 6 is repeating twice. Great. So in our domain, we have 6, 6, 8, 9. And as you see, we have the same number twice. That tells us it's not a function. But we still have to find range anyway. What's the range? 1, 2, 3, 4. That was easy, right? Since it was easy, so it will not be in the exam. It's for your homework, and you may see them in the quiz. I'm not sure. The next thing is also easy thing. Instead of points, they plotted the points this time. But you're finding the exact same things. Actually, you don't have to find domain and range. You're just figuring out whether they represent function or not. Medicine. So B is not a function. Why not? Wonderful observation. See, we have a point here, another point here. Both points have the same x value 1. But we cannot have x value more than once. So this is causing the problem. Now, if you can do the harder one, let's look at the easy one. What do you think about A? It's a function. With every point you see, they have the individual x. This point has the x value here. This point has the x value there. And lastly, this point has the x value here. So we have 4 points, 4 different x values. So it is a function. This was also easy, right? Very easy. Will not be in the exam. What will be in the exam is my favorite thing. Figuring out from a bunch of graphs, which of the graphs represent function. So in order to do that, what we do is we draw a vertical line through the graph. If the vertical line that goes through the graph crosses the graph more than once, it's not a function. This is called vertical line test. See, if you observe this here, when you draw a line through the points here, we see our vertical line has 2 points on the graph, so it's not a function. Same concept here. If you draw a vertical line to anywhere in the graph and it crosses the graph twice or 3 times or more than once, not a function. So what do you think about this one? Not a function because you have 2 intersections. But in order to be a function, we have only 1 intersection. So not a function. Any question on this one? In order to be a function, all you have to do is draw a vertical line through the graph. And if that vertical line crosses the graph or touches the graph at most once or only once, it's a function. So you did try B? Good. If you draw a line anywhere, you can draw it here, or you can draw there. That doesn't matter where you're drawing your vertical line. If you draw a straight vertical line, you see how many times that line intersects the graph. It's only intersect once. So, yes. Tahsin. Next one. C. Is this a function or not a function? It is a function. Yes. So you can draw your line anywhere. I'm drawing it here. And it's only one intersection. You can draw your line here. You can draw your line here. It doesn't matter where you draw your line. Every line intersects the graph only once. What? You don't understand. So here, this graph intersects the vertical line twice. It's not a function. In here, this is our graph. When you draw a line, it touches only once. It's a function. Now we have this line, this graph. So let me draw the graph here. Something like this. You draw a vertical line here, anywhere. So this graph intersecting the line how many times? Once. So it's a function. Sandy's first one. It's a function. You draw a line anywhere, intersection is once, so yes. Abraham, next one. Perfect. You draw the line anywhere, it doesn't matter where. It's intersecting the parabola only once. Gavin, what do you think about C? Yeah. It's also a line. Now, who would like to try D? No, why not? If you draw a vertical line, this line already is a vertical line. If you draw another vertical line, you have to draw it on top of this line. So if you draw a line on top of another line, it has infinitely many intersections because they are the same line. So it's not a function.
Obviously, vertical lines is
no. Because they're touching one another many, many times. But the rule says you have to touch only once. Now we've seen that the increasing line is a function, right? How about the decreasing line? Is it a function? Yes. And you also see a horizontal line. Horizontal line is also a function. And then lastly, we see a vertical line. Vertical line is not a function. So increasing line has the equation y equals mx plus b, right? Decreasing line has the equation y equals negative mx plus b. Oh, m is negative, that's why the line is going down. Horizontal line has y equals some type of number. And vertical line has equation x equals some type of number, right? So this is yes, this is yes, this is yes, this is no. What do you observe from this observation, from these four equations? True. And what do you observe about the equations? I give you equations for all these lines, right?
I'll start with y, and the last one starts with x.
True. So as you see, so, as you see, y equals something here, y equals something here, y equals something here. So in order to be a function, there is one condition. You have to have y in your equation. If you don't have y, it's not a function. Moreover, in your y, you have to have an odd power. If your y doesn't have an odd power, it's not a function. So among many equations, how do you identify which of these are functions? Well, we just observe the power on the y. If your equation has a y, it fulfill the first requirement. And then if the y has an odd power, then it fulfilled all the conditions. It is a function. The question is, what numbers have the odd numbers? What are the odd numbers? 5, 7, 9, those things, right? And what are the even numbers? 2, 4, 6, all these numbers. So remember, y with the square, not a function. Y with the fourth power, not a function. We don't care about the power on the x. We only care about the power on the y. Y has to have odd powers. Clear? Why is that? Because when you have y with the square power, let me show you one easy example. Let's say you have y squared equals x. Okay? Now, you know, to get the y alone, what do you have to do? It is the square root, right? You know, to get here the 2 powers. So when you take the square root, you get y. But anytime you take the even root of anything, any number, you end up getting 2 possibilities. So one of them is positive square root of x. Another is negative square root of x. Remember we said x cannot be repeated, but do you see x is repeating here? Same x we are seeing twice. That's why. So anytime we take any type of even root, we always have 2 possibilities. Right. So this is not a function. Not a function. That's why we care about the power on the y. We don't care about the power on the x. X can have anything, but only when y has an even power, we end up getting two choices for x. Same x value repeats twice, not allowed. Let's do some example. A, what do you think about A? You think not, right? Why not? Great. See, x, we don't care about x. X may have 100,000 million power, we don't care. We only care about what do we have on y. What's the power on the y? 1. So it is yes, because y has 1 power. And 1 means it's odd. Okay? So y has odd powers, that's why it's a function. And it's true. Do you know the graph? X square graph. What type of graph is X square graph? Parabola. So this is actually a parabola. Now, if you use vertical line test, is it a function? Yes. See? How about the next one? Yes. Why? Why? Y has odd power. Who would like to try C? Yes. The reason is
Because
why? Y has odd power. Now you may think, well, all of these are functions. Then what is not a function? D, what's wrong with D? No Y. No Y means not a function. So it's no, because no Y. And now the last one. Why not? Why? So why? Only problem is it the Y. Y has even power. That will produce 2x's. We don't want to have the same x twice. Guess what? I'm going to ask 3 or 4 of these in the exam. Because these are fun, right? We're not doing any math. So 30 questions on XY plane. And I'm going to give at least 6 to 7 here. 6 to 7. So 6 or 7 points here. I'm going to give probably 3 on this topic. Finding the function. So I gave you 7 and 3, 10, 30, 40. I already gave you 40 points here in the exam. So which exam? Exam 1 on Friday. Medicine question? Yeah. I'm talking about exam 1, which you're going to take 1 week from tomorrow. No. So for this, you have to tell me yes or no and why. So yes and no, 1 point, why 2 points. Oh, that makes it 6 points here. So more than 40 points. Probably I didn't make the exam yet. And now it's called function notation. Well, we see few equations represent function, few doesn't represent function. So let's say people don't know which of these are function, which are not function. So in order to tell people that you're dealing with a function, we actually use a trick. Instead of writing y equals, let's say, x squared, we write f of x equals x squared. Because anytime you see f of x, it means this is a function respect to x. Okay? So y and x, f of x, they are exact same thing. They are same thing. We use f of x to tell others that this thing you're working with is a function. And when you write y, probably we don't know or they don't know, something like that. Okay? So it's called function notation using f of x.
That's just like to let somebody know like that's a function. But it's the same thing as that.
Exact same thing. Now, why do you care about function notation? Well, we care about function notation because when you see f of x equals something, we can actually evaluate, we can replace this x with some numbers and we get a number for the y value. So we're evaluating a function, we replace all the x with whatever number they give us, and then we simplify. Example, this. And I'm giving you another finalism question. Final exam means they definitely will be also in the in-class exam. Every question I mention will be in the final exam. Definitely they will be in the in-class exam. So everything I told you about lines, this is final exam question, this is a final exam question. You'll see them again in the in-class exam next week. So basically I'm giving you the exam. Okay? That's why failing my class is hard. Because I already give you all the information. All you have to do is practice so that you can remember during exam. Okay, so evaluating a function means you replace all the x with the given number. So here they're telling us our f of x is 10x squared plus 4x minus 1. They want us to find the y value when our x value is negative 2/5. So f of x, we're not going to write x because they want us to replace all the x with negative 2/5. It says find f of negative 2/5. So x becomes negative 2/5. So 10 times negative 2/5 square, 4 times negative 2/5, and then minus 1. So we substituted x with a number. Now all you have to do is simplify using pandas. In the first one, we have a multiplication and we have an exponent. Which order comes first? Multiplication or the exponent? Exponent. So we have to keep our 10. And now what is negative 2/5 squared? It means you're multiplying negative 2/5, exact same thing twice. So if you multiply negative twice, it becomes what? 4. 4/25. So multiply negative twice becomes positive. 2 multiplied twice becomes 4. 5 multiplied twice becomes 25. And in the next one, we have a multiplication. When you multiply, do you multiply both top and bottom, or do you multiply only the top? Good, only the top. So if you multiply only the top, we have what? Negative 8/5. And this one is lonely. So just bring it down. And then what? You can keep multiplying. I don't want to keep multiplying. If you multiply, things get bigger, right? I don't want to deal with bigger things. Can you make it simpler? They both are divisible by 5. So let's divide 10 by 5 and 25 by 5. As long as one of them is at the top and one is at the bottom, you can always cancel them somehow. So 5 goes to 10 how many times? Twice. And 5 goes to 25 how many times? 5. So we see clearly our denominator is 5, right? How about the numerator? Good. We had 2 here and 4 here. So we multiply them. So let me erase this. We multiply 2 and 4, that gives us 8. So we have 8, 5, and we have these. Don't combine them, just bring them down because it's hard to combine. Negative 8/5, negative 1. And now what do you see? Exactly. Positive 8/5, negative 8/5, they cancel out. So you didn't have to work with the fractions. One.
No. Like,
Oh, you
so
mean
we're-
bring this here?
Yeah, like when the solar work thing,
Mhm.
this is right line.
Oh, here? Yeah.
So,
Here?
yeah,
How can you find here?
that's what I'm asking, how we do solar work. Cross it out,
That's it, just cross out.
Okay.
You didn't have to write 5 busy. Just Do it mentally. So what remains in our solution? -1. So department actually does that a lot. They make things look harder, but if you simplify things instead of just multiplying top and bottom, then it becomes easier.
The 1925 on the other side does have the thing.
No, it's f of -2/5. It's not only 2/5. F of -2/5 means we are substituting x with -2/5 in the function f. What's the function? This is the function. So you leave that alone. It's just like y equals. Okay, I have 3 more examples. Do whatever you think is easier, harder for you. We still have 5 more minutes. If you can do all 3, if you cannot, then pick one is the hardest that you think is the hardest. And then at home, you can try the other 2. And remember, one of these will be in the final exam. Either you will see a fraction or a negative number or a whole number. And if you have to challenge yourself, do all 3 in 5 minutes. And let me know who came late. So who came late? Give me 1 second. Name? Jolene. Jolene. Who else came late? I need the attendance because I have to submit in the register. So who came late? So Brianna, Christina, Catherine, Jolene, Govan, Madison, Field, Eric, Abraham, Stephanie, Leandra, Robert, Katie, Kimelcia, Sandys, Michaela, Madison, Orlando, Angie, Majavin, Mel Willis, Giselle, Mohammed, Tahsin, Gavin, Brianna, Yvette, Nicholas, Daniel. Is there anybody whose name I did not call? No? Okay. And then try to be when you multiply them. I'm just working, but oh, and then you have double negative, right? One negative is for x negative given to you, and another is the x given to the parentheses. So substitution is done. In x is negative 1, so in the parentheses is but before the x squared is still having negative. You're doing B, right? Yeah. So before the x squared is still having negative. So you can keep your negative. And this negative is from the equation, and -5 is inside the parentheses. So if x is not 1, then -1. But this is 25, but still have a negative outside. And we still have a negative outside. Our square 4 is 9, and the 9 gets rid of 15. 2, 15 and 4. I don't know. Yeah, this is 9 goes to equal to what? 2 goes to the half. Not in the boundary. Now you have 2 times 4. You know, it's not half. One is on the half, 4 is the half. There is nothing on the bottom of the half number. Eight. Minus 8. What is this one? For no, you're not. That's the I think you're answer here. Nothing negative 3. Yeah. Our kids. Oh. No. 9 plus 6 plus yeah. Wait, okay, it's fine. Okay, I got it. Let's do them together in 5 minutes. Huh? See? Okay. So we have f of x is 18x squared plus 3x minus 4. And we are replacing x with negative 2/3. So it's 18 something squared, 3 times something minus 4. That something is negative 2/3. Now, as we did before, we keep on 18. The negative turn into positive. 2 and 3 turns into 4 and 9. So we get 4/9. On the second one, I want to do simpler case. 3 is on the top, 3 is on the bottom. We can simply cancel them. 3 is on the top, 3 is on the bottom. I'm doing simplifying method. So you get -2. This 4 is single, we bring it down, you get -4. Now, instead of multiplying 18 and 4 and then divide by 9, we can actually reduce. We can divide both of them by 9. So 9 goes to 9 once, 9 goes to 18 twice. So 9 and 18, we get 2 and 4. So on the top, we have 2 and 4. On the bottom, everything cancel out, we have nothing. So 8, and you can combine this easily. -2, -4, -6. What is 8 minus 6? 2. So our C is 2. Let me do the other 2 real quick. 59. One of them is 59. -59. Okay, let's do B. We have f of x is negative x squared plus 5x minus 9. And we are finding f of -5. It means negative something squared plus 5 times something and 9. So every x turn into -5. If you observe, you see that I always put a parenthesis instead of x. Why I do that? Because you can see that this negative has nothing to do with the inside -5. So you bring it down. And this thing is -5 squared, means -5 times -5. So it becomes +25. Now 5 times -5 gives us another -25. And we have a single 9, bring it down. 25 give us -50. -9 gives us -59. -25 square gives us +25. But this negative is extra, so you have to bring it down. Now let's do the first one. F of x is 4x squared minus 3x plus 6. We are looking for f of -3. So 4 times something squared, 3 times something plus 6. Every x turn into -3. So this time our 4 is a single, we keep it, and -3 squared becomes 9. -3 times -3 plus 9. And 6 is a single, we bring it down. 4 times 9, 36. And we can add this to easily, 15. Now finally, 36 plus 15, 51. So the answer is 51, -59, and 2.
So one of the examples is
Similar, not the same, similar.
so we can put F parentheses X equals the number of activities. Okay.
For in-class exam, you don't have to do that, but for my method, I think yeah, you do.
Do you ever do like opposite?
You can stay 15 minutes. Yeah, every class after 15 minutes, because they have class after that. So they have class at 2:30. Before 2:30, I can be here every day.
Oh, here it is. Right here.
Why do you have a negative? Why this is negative? It is -4. And we have, oh, that's the thing. So you have 3 times 2, 6. What happened to your denominator?
Isn't it this is 1?
Yeah, but you have times 3. So it's 6 divided by 3. That will give you 2. That's how.
So maybe I need to do it first. My opinion is how to know which formula to plug in based on the question. The question throw me in the word problem sometimes. Are you gonna go over that? Or?
What problems for this exam? You don't have to worry about the what problems. We will not have time to go about to 4.5. So tomorrow I'm going to finish this. So you have only domain and range. We'll work with domain and range tomorrow. And next week, Tuesday, we are going to do section 4.123. It sounds a lot, but section 4.123, it talks about only 2 rules, how to solve equations of system of equations. So you're going to finish that on Tuesday, and then Thursday you're going to do a review. Friday is the exam.
Okay. Let me do my own review if I have any questions.
And I posted the review sheet on the Brightspace.
Okay.
I was looking at the review sheet. Is it possible, like, so on the review sheet, it says like the answers for some of them, right? Is it possible that you can make the questions separate from the answer key? You make the questions separate from the answer key?
Separate from what?
The answer key, like, it's like,
Answer key.
can you make a separate answer key?
So you want me to erase
Just-
all the
Just,
answer key?
like, I just want the questions and then like we could, if we want to look at the answers, because if it says answers right there, it kind of like gives it okay. And also, did you add the time for the MyLab?
Totally forgot.
Yeah, I want to get it done. That's why I just keep like asking you about it.
I'm so sorry. I'll do it 2:15. I'll do it right now.
Okay. And